Stubbornness comes again from a power struggle. The child acts stubborn because he's not getting his way. He wants to be in power, he wants to do get his way, and he's not getting that. So that is going to end up in a tantrum now. So what we need to understand here is differentiate between two things. Is it stubbornness or is it a courage that he's showing which is out of conviction? Don't act in the moment. When the child is all heated up and he's shouting on top of his lungs, and you are shouting, and then nobody's going to be able to comprehend anything. And the end result will be you failed to understand the child. Definitely, you could have dispersed the situation by giving him a treat or switching on TV or taking him outside. But you did not understand the child. The point, the problem was still there. Some 3 times. But from the 4th time, you will realize the moment you say bedtime, the child will say, okay, now I know what she's talking about. She wants me to go to the bed and start with the bedtime routine. So that's what you want to instill in your child's mind. And you need to be putting up with a follow-up action with it to get him understand that.
I used to think if I couldn't find hope, I should just let it all go. I used to think if I couldn't make dreams come true, I should just let them all go.
Tell us about stubbornness. Like now children are also young human beings, we all understand, but then they also come with their own plethora of fickle-mindedness and stubbornness and so many other issues. So why they are so much attention seekers? What happens in their psychology?
So now stubborn behavior, number one, it starts from a young age and it can go up to any age, right? If it has not been curbed well in time. So let's talk about the younger age first. Stubbornness comes again from a power struggle. The child acts stubborn because he's not getting his way. He wants to be in power, he wants to get his way, and he's not getting that. So that is going to end up in a tantrum now. So what we need to understand here is differentiate between two things. Is it stubbornness or is it a courage that he's showing which is out of conviction? Now, stubbornness is what if you or I as adults are stubborn. What does that mean? It means that we don't want to change our opinions about anything. What we are thinking, our process is absolutely right, and I don't want to know what the other person's thought process is. That's called stubbornness. Now, when a child harbors that, it could not be just that. It could also be a display of courage out of conviction. Now, what is the latter? The latter is when the child actually has a valid point for his behavior, for wanting something that he feels that I'm absolutely right at that. It's not just I only want it. But when you ask him, you'll come to know of a completely vague reason that you find so valid. And from the child's point of view, he's absolutely right. So whenever dealing with a child with stubborn behavior, you first need to analyze, is he simply being stubborn? If it's a young child, is he hungry? Or does he want something? Or what? Find out that reason first. And secondly, ask him, why do you want this? Why do you want to do this? Why do you want to go there? And listen to them what they're saying. Of course, that's at the end of the entire meltdown which you will have to be facing, because always stubborn behavior is followed by a tantrum. So when all of that is gone, and then you need to ask, don't act in the moment. When the child is all heated up and he's shouting on top of his lungs, and you are shouting, and then nobody's going to be able to comprehend anything. And the end result will be you failed to understand the child. Definitely, you could have dispersed the situation by giving him a treat or switching on TV or taking him outside. But you did not understand the child. The point, the problem was still there. So what we need to do is listen to the child, calm him down. Now, if you're coming to toddler tantrums and how to handle them in such a situation, the number one thing here is you've got to stoop down to their level. Even if you're having a child who's an older child and they're throwing a tantrum, which they do. So you need to be sitting down to the child's eye level, looking at them in the eye, and stop using pet names. When you need to be serious, talk business. Take the first name of the child, so the child knows, okay, something is different. This isn't normal. That's when you got the attention of the child. And now, if you have a wailing, crying child in front of you, don't raise your voice more than him. Lower your voice. Now, this is famously called the whisper technique, and it's amazing. Try to speak in as low and soft voice as possible. What this is going to, of course, you'll have to repeat yourself. But what this is going to do is it's going to make the child calm down, stop his crying and wailing just to be able to hear what you're saying. As simple as that. And you got him to stop crying. So once all of that tantrum is gone and you've got his attention, he's listening to you, now is the time to ask him, why were you crying? What is it that you exactly want? Many children, they stay stubborn or they throw tantrums even after getting what they wanted, even after doing their way. That's because you actually didn't understand what the child wanted to say. So that's how it is. You need to get their attention, ask them, and validate their feelings. Okay, so you're angry because I didn't give you screen. You're frustrated because your tower is broken. Validate their feeling first, and then try to find a solution. Ask the child what he feels.
Yeah. So this is my takeaway, whisper technique. All right, I'm going to definitely use it. So, okay, moving forward, how to make your kids, listen to you at the first time itself?
Yeah, I get that a lot because I remember my mom and myself also a few months back, we can see ourselves shouting the same thing 10 times. It's bedtime. It's bedtime. I want to get up now. I said now. This is the last time I'm telling you. I'm going to count till 3. We've all heard that. We've all used that. But then where did this stem from? This constant repetition. You have to reiterate the same thing, that children are busy as if you are non-existent. What can you do about it? So first thing is that these are kids we're dealing with. You have to reiterate because we assume that these are little adults in front of us with full comprehensive power, which they clearly aren't. So you got to be repeating your rules, whatever rules you have. But this isn't in the moment. This is a part of a routine. This is a part of the ground rules that you have laid in your house, that this is going to be morning bedtime, this is going to be breakfast and sleep and the entire routine. Now what happens when you want the child, we'll take an example that you need to send the child for bed and he's busy in his own thing. And you say, come on, it's bedtime. Once, they didn't listen. You say 2 times and then you start yelling. Instead, I want you to follow through your words with an action. Hold the hand of the child and take him to the bed and say, come, I'll tuck you in. Come, I'll help you change. Come on, let's start the routine. Let's brush your teeth. A simple thing, as simple as that. Say your words. If they aren't listening, follow it up with an action. Now what you did here is, and this is a very simple part of a psychological construct that little kids have. They don't simply understand instructions even after repetition, but if it is followed up with an action, you'll have to do it 2 times, maximum 3 times. But from the 4th time, you will realize the moment you say bedtime, the child will say, okay, now I know what she's talking about. She wants me to go to the bed and start with the bedtime routine. So that's what you want to instill in your child's mind, and you need to be putting up with a follow-up action with it to get him understand that. Now, another amazing thing to make your child listen the first time is, of course, I said you need to understand the children. So whenever you see your child in a huge frenzy, like give me some example that you get in your everyday life, or when the little one doesn't listen to you.
It's nowadays, like I was coming to this as my next question, but since you have asked me, so morning technically till afternoon, she's already having a screen time because, the school is going on, online school. And post that, I just feel that there has to be cut down on your screen time. And yeah, so during lockdown, I mean, no matter how much I like it or not like it, she got a hang of screen time. So yes, she definitely doesn't listen to me in that regard for the first time. Like I really have to be after her to cut down on that. So that's my daily dilemma.
So, taking your example, I'll tell you the thing about screen time and making your child break that habit. Like, okay, come on, it's time to switch off the screen. The best thing that you can try is it's like you're giving the child an ice cream and then you're saying, okay, come on, it's time to eat dal chawal. Now, from something that's so amazing, you want them to go and eat something that's not so desirable. So we need to make that switch. It's a simple mind game. So if she wants to keep her screen, you want her to keep her screen. So you can give her another option that is equally lucrative. And when I say ice cream, you can ask her to go have a tub of ice cream. Come on, let's have a scoop. Take them there, lure them to the fridge, just give them a scoop or 2, 1 spoon or 2, and then back to what you want them to do, say bedtime or nap time or whatever it is. And now since yours is an older girl, so what you can do is, come on, let's sit and talk, let's have a show or go outside in the balcony, whatever you both feel in your mojo is really nice and she finds it lucrative. Try to use that. But always remember, if you're calling them from something that's so interesting to something that's boring, they're bound to put up a tantrum and it's going to be difficult to stop that.
So it's very conditional. Yeah.
Yeah, actually, since you brought that up, do you remember that Pavlov's experiment of conditioning? Pavlov's experiment is we've studied it in the 12th standard, where he was a scientist and he had a dog. He conditioned the dog to the sound of the bell. Every time the bell rings, food is going to be presented. So that kind of conditioning you need to. I'm not saying kids are dogs, but then that's how conditioning works. It's so amazing. If you use that same principle, you have to do. That's how you can set routines. Do the same kind of things every single day. The brain gets conditioned into doing that, and your life gets easier.
Could be good for me. Lately I was feeling like I need a purpose.